What is up, guys? It's Selca, and today I'll be breaking down Bitcoin and Ethereum as well as Avax, Link, S&P 500 and Nasdaq. So I think this video will be pretty useful for those who are trading stocks as well as altcoin. And this is a request for somebody that simply requested those four assets, so I'm doing it right now. And as you can see in the top right corner, you have the four different patterns, the four different correction I'm using most of the time, and you can see them in the uptrend as well as the downtrend. So I think this will be pretty easier for you guys to follow my analysis as well as to understand if you're trying to know more about the wave theory or just trying to get the basics. This will help pretty much. So right now, let's go for this pattern and see what's coming next. So for Bitcoin, and like I said in the last videos, alright, I said that this move, overall, I was expecting the regular flat in the downtrend that you can see, alright? So I saw this move, I saw this is the correction, and I'll put that in the bigger so you can see it. Alright, something like this. Alright, so I saw this move being the impulse. So if you see regular flat right there in the downtrend, you see that I saw this piece as the impulse, this piece as the correction, which is the orange move, and I was expecting another piece to come and match that impulse before having the down move. Alright, so I think this move was meant to be down because of how deep it was coming. Alright, so this went pretty deep. Alright, and the fact that it went pretty deep makes it a regular flat for downtrend and not this piece a regular flat for uptrend. Alright, because you can see it, if you have an impulse up, you have a three wave correction just like you have in the regular flat uptrend. This will go up and this can start a trend reversal. Alright, but because we have a down move like this and that went pretty low, so the correction went pretty low, it just shows us like that this move is the correction for that whole impulse. This is a three wave correction for it. Alright, and if we had instead something that looks like this, let's start with a downtrend like this and an up move like this, and then a correction that stays really above that low, so above this. As you can see, this went pretty low, but if it was gonna stay above it, this will mean that this correction right there is the correction for that impulse. So it will give another push, and this now becomes more likely, this has more chance to come and be a reversal, because then this impulse will be an impulse in the higher time frame. So it's super important to understand this concept, alright, that if this goes lower, it means that in the higher time frame we see this move coming lower, and that means that this is most likely a range, so a correction for that down move, and then another down move will come. Alright, so I'll break down that piece, how we was seeing it in the last video. So basically, we had in mind this impulse, and at first we saw this three wave correction, and to us this was a three wave correction for that impulse. Alright, just like I was saying right now, an impulse with a small correction at top, or an impulse with a small three wave correction at top, is still has still some chance to come and start a reversal compared to having an impulse and a correction that is pretty deep. Alright, so based off that, this pattern could have been a good buy setup to take and try to snipe a reversal. Alright, so this was a good setup to take. But the thing, and that's pretty important to understand, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in this video, but the wave theory is better, like works fine and works better in the higher time frame. And the fact is that, you see, we were expecting an up move right there, but the fact that it ranged, we need to adapt ourselves to the structure and see this range as a correction. We must do that. And if we see this range as a correction, we need to see an impulse before it and expect an impulse after it. Alright, so now let me remove that. This, which is at first a three wave correction for another push up, is now, because of this range and because this range is bigger than the one that was there, and that we know that the B wave, the orange wave on those correction, is supposed to be the most corrective wave, then we must think about this piece being the correction, the orange wave that you see in those correction, for that down move. So this is the yellow one. So we must see the pattern like this simply because of that correction. But the thing is, the lower you go on time frame, the more you cannot see those correction. Like, you'll miss them. You won't be in front of your PC the whole time. So this correction will happen pretty fast and take you out from the trade before you even notice that this setup is no more the correction you were expecting. All right. So with that being said, the only thing I'm trying to say is that we can never know if a structure will become a bigger one. So if you expect a corrective structure in the 15 minutes, so a small one for another push up, you have no clue that this smaller one cannot turns out to be a bigger one. All right. And in this piece, in this whole structure, we got to see that twice. All right. So the first time was this 3-wave correction. For another push up, I was expecting this, but then it turns out that this correction was the bigger one, so we must take this correction as the B part, so expecting this drop and then another drop. And I remember when I saw this correction, I told you guys that this won't go up because of how rangy it gets. We should take it as a correction and expect another down move. That's what we've got. And starting from that, this would have been perfect as a regular flat for that up move. All right, so this would have been a perfect correction to go up and retest the top. Now we started going up, everything was doing fine until we got a retracement. And the moment we've got a retracement and some sort of a move coming slowly up, and let me remove that, this arrow was no more. All right, the moment we saw this arrow was possible, but was going to happen whenever this move was done. All right, so at the moment we've seen this retracement as well as this slow move going up. This arrow should not be there anymore. It should be around there. All right, simply because now what we've seen is that this was an impulse in smaller time frame. So I'll put that in different color. So let's say in the blue one. So this was an up move in a different color in the smaller time frame. Then I was expecting a correction in the smaller time frame as well, so something going pretty small. So I was expecting a regular flat as it's the most probable, and I was expecting the regular flat you can see on the top right corner to come and break that low and then go up for that impulse. So match that impulse with this one and this be your 3-wave correction. So that was the plan. So I was slowly expecting this, knowing that we could go for a contracting and come straight up without breaking it, but there's not much chance about it. So I was most likely expecting this to come and drop and break those low. All right. So the moment we've seen this range, for me it was too much. This was the moment that I knew for sure that we were going to break at least this one and this one, and at that moment I knew that this was not the impulse that we were looking for, but most likely a correction. But I could not remove the fact that this can still go up, and it will be, if it went up from that point, it will still be alright. So from that point I had this move in mind, but I was most likely expecting this move to be the correction for that whole piece. You see how you have to follow the pattern, follow the structure, and adapt yourself in order to get the next moves. That was one of them. We thought that this was a 3-wave correction that was done. It turns out to be a bigger move, and now we thought that this was a 3-wave correction that was done and turns out to be a bigger move. So basically all I want to say from that point is that this is the first retracement, this is the correction, and you've got the second impulse that came and broke this low as well as this one, and that was one of those two scenarios I talked about. All right, so let me recap. at first, and if you watch my video, you will see something that goes like this, and then goes down. We didn't have this move, we didn't have this one, but we've got the bigger one. And that's another thing I want to talk about in this video, is that the cryptos in general doesn't go for complex structure. All right, so if we were in forex or in sometime in stocks, it will do that as well. But if we were in anything, trading anything beside crypto, you'll see some type of move that goes like this. You get an impulse, you get the correction, you get another impulse, but you had an impulse before it, you get another impulse, but you had an impulse before it, you get it, and it goes complex like this. All right, and all this becomes a big tree wave correction with a lot of correction in it. All right, so all this piece comes together and becomes a big correction, but you can all forecast them knowing which is the most corrective part from that point. So if you see that this is the most corrective part, then you have a drop before it, you go for a drop, you have an up, you go for an up, and it seriously does that. It seriously is just like this in every other assets, but now Bitcoin, and we can see it in many times, as I was most likely going to forecast them like it was a forex asset. So for example, this piece, I'm pretty sure this piece in forex would have come like this. Since this was the correction, this would have come with another up, which we've got, and I forecasted it in my videos. But it would have come with another down move to match this one, another up move to complete that running flat three wave structure that you can see right there, and then drop from that point. So another top before dropping was really possible for Bitcoin, but didn't happen because sometimes Bitcoin really doesn't give a fuck about getting those low or those top broken one more time before going down. But it still you have to keep in mind that for bigger structure, Bitcoin is there. So if you have this impulse, you have this correction, we were expecting an up move and then a down move for a running flat that is going down. So you see running flat in the downtrend, and we got it simply because it still works really good in higher time frame, and it doesn't go pretty complex. It just goes simple. This was a simple correction. This was a down move, simple down move, up move. This up move had a lot of small correction in it, but still it went down like it usually was supposed to. So at that point, as you can see from that structure, we're gonna take this as the correction that is completed. All right, and even though we didn't match every other pieces, sometime with Bitcoin, and I really advise you to just keep it simple. This was a part that was slow and was supposed to go up at first. So fuck it, since it's slow, you have a down move before it, you expect another move down after it. Then you have an up move before it, then we will expect an up move after it. And since there's a down move before it, we will expect again a down move that will break those low again. So the bad news about this structure, and I'm telling you right now, is that we're probably going to break the low again. So we broke it one time, we broke it the second time, and we probably are going to break it a third time. So that's the bad news. Now, in order to keep this structure valid, we must not break this top. So I think that from now, we're going to see an up move that will go like this, and I'll put it like this, and a down move that will come and break the low again. So it doesn't need to hardly break the low, just tag it, it's correct, but we'll see it go up and go down just like this structure. All right, so it's the same thing. You had a down move, so this coming from the top, an up move, a correction like this in three wave correction, another up move to match this one, then a down move. So same thing, coming from the bottom, up move, correction, going in three wave, up move, and go down. So again, it will do the regular flat, the running flat, one of those that goes pretty often, and yeah, it will just repeat like this, go up, go down, and that's what I'm expecting, since this is to me the range that we've got. for that impulse, then we match this one with this one, and then the final drop with that one. So you see how wave theory goes? It's pretty simple to understand, pretty hard to master, all right? So you need to really take care of a lot of things in order to master that. Like, take care of that range, because that range was supposed to be an impulse. Since it's not an impulse, think about it as a continuation for the drop that you've got before. Then again, this was supposed to be an impulse, but since it's range, so you understand that everything can happen for the structure, but you'll be able to understand everything that can happen as well. So you won't be surprised. It's not like trading resistance when you see, oh, this comes up, I'm selling, I don't care. But yeah, what if you're selling? What if it goes like this, an up move, a retracement, a correction like this, and this goes down like this? What if you're selling this? Like, what if you're selling there, and for us that's a 3-wave correction, and you're just saying that you're selling this resistance, for example, or like this one. For us, this will go up, and you'll be selling right there when this will most likely go up. That's just one of those example, but you get it. You cannot go for support and resistance every time without having in mind another strategy, another method, and that's why, to me, I don't think trading support resistance is good at all. I think some people having success with it simply because other people are trading it. But overall, the market doesn't rely on your supports, on your resistance to move. It simply moves because of the psychology behind everyone's trading. So people being greedy or being afraid, it doesn't matter if you have a line like this trend line. For example, this trend line, we've got a reaction right there. People were selling this trend line. There's no problem about it. We know as wave theory users that people are going to sell this trend line, and that we will most likely have a small corrective structure for that down impulse that will lead to have a down impulse. But if you trade that resistance, and you trade it, you can win your trade, but you don't know this will go down at what point, because for us, this will only break this low, at least, but it can like simply tag this low and go back up to complete another structure. And if you're trading the resistance, you won't be able to understand that this should be a take profit, and a lot of stuff like this simply to understand, but hard to understand at least why the market goes like this. And I think that's the most important thing while trading an asset of the structure. So right now we're done with Bitcoin, and let me recap. This will go up and then go down. That's what we're looking for, and the only condition is we will not break this top. All right, so as long as we don't break this top, we're looking for that. Now if you think we're gonna break the top, and if we do break the top, we will wait a breakout, all right, and a correction. All right, whenever we will get a breakout, a correction, this is a lot of probability of going up and have a reversal. All right, but before that, I think that we will complete this structure, because as if you're under this top, you have like 90% chance going for that running flat, which will most likely happen. If we break out and flag, now you almost turn the table for the 90% to go up instead. All right, and why I'm sad, not sad, but I'm not that bullish over that structure is simply because since you broke that low, you must go for the running flat who doesn't break the top. All right, and if you don't break the top on a downtrend, then you are staying in the downtrend, and you keep the probability going down. All right, so if we didn't break the bottom right there, we would have gone for the regular flat instead. And the regular flat, as you can see in the top right corner, doesn't break the bottom but break the top back. So breaking the top back increase our chance of having a reversal, because we kind of break the downtrend, and then if we had an up move and a correction, then we could have expected having a reversal as of right now. But right now, since we broke the low, I think we'll see this broke again. I think this will go up and then go down again, and yeah, break the low a couple more time before going up. So that's the sad news. We're not done with that corrective structure, and I really want to be done with it and to go next. So we'll wait for that. But yeah, that's it for Bitcoin. Now Ethereum. Ethereum is different. I was not expecting it to go down that much, and since it went down that much, but we didn't break the low. That's a good news. We'll wait for that to come up, break the top, and then come back down. So either way, this will most likely go down because of how this went near the low. All right. So the fact that it went so much near the low, we're gonna expect simply a regular flat for the downtrend. So a down move, 3-wave correction, regular flat that you can see right there, and break the low again. So if we break the low, even tag it, it's okay. So if it does, then we're gonna wait for and expect a running flat instead. So same thing as Bitcoin, running flat is instead. But to me, this is clear. This is the orange wave, which is the corrective wave, and then I expect to match those all those impulse with it. All right. Now in the higher time frame, and it doesn't change the higher time frame, as long as this bottom is not broken, we expect a regular flat for downtrend. The same thing. All right. So you see on the top right corner, you have a down move. This is an impulse to us. This is a correction. Whenever this will be done, another impulse will happen, break the top, and then go back down. Most likely will go back down. If this comes up in range, then that's most likely going to be a reversal. So same thing. At first, when you break the top, always take profit and put a stop loss above your entry price, simply because most of the time, and also because it went pretty low, this will come down. All right, but just in case you see it comes up and break that top a lot with a lot of volume as well as ranging, then either you get back in the trade or you just don't take profit, don't close the trade in case there's this that will happen. But either way, you just need to protect yourself out at the top, because most likely it will go down. That's a rare case that can happen. It can also happen the more you're down in the daily wave, the more you're at the bottom for the daily structure, the more this will happen. So as of right now, the reversal could be happening and have a lot of probability to happen if we break with a lot of volume the top and we range. But still keep in mind that this can be dropping again, and that most likely this will be dropping. Just example right there. You had your 3-wave correction, it broke the top, this dropped, all right? But this, if this have flagged and come a little bit up, this would have gone for the top right there, all right? But because of that, you've seen it drop, and same thing. But the more it goes down, the more someday it will be a 3-wave correction that will invalidate because of that correction and that breakout, and that will go up. So you want to be in the trade if that goes up, and that's why we're looking most likely to buy in this zone, because we want to be part of the up move and not take profits of that little small moves that we are getting. We really want to focus on the up move, and that's why even those pattern, even that we know that this will probably go down after breaking the top, we want to be there and buying in this zone, because if this goes up and flags, it will never go back to this price, and you want to be part of the trade if this goes like this. Simply as simple as that. So now I know the video is a bit long, so we're gonna do that quick for those 4 different assets. Now Avax. Alright, so this one was a clean regular flat. You can see it on the top right corner. You have an impulse, you have a 3-wave corrective structure, then it went up with another impulse. So you even have smaller regular flat right there. This was super clean as well, smaller regular flat, just to confirm that we're going to break this top, and this can happen. So the second impulse doesn't need to be parabolic without having correction. Sometimes you get small correction before breaking the top. So just that was one of those. Now the top was broken. We've got to see small correction to keep going up. All right. So it was not a dump with a correction going for a downtrend correction. No, it was most likely a correction, a small range for the up moves that you have previously. So yeah, of that we've get to see a top, and this was the top. All right, the top of the structure. So let me remove that. This was the top, and this was a regular flat downtrend for that down impulse coming down. And yeah, I won't go through everything, but yeah, small correction right there, and that was clearly a reversal. So as of this, I'm seeing this simply as the first retracement of all this up move. So in comparison, this is this move is exactly this move when all this happened. So when all this happened, we got a first reversal. When all this happened, we got a first reversal. So you need to expect an up move that will slowly go up, just like this, and then another move to go down, just like this, and then an up move to start another reversal. So something bigger, because we're getting in a bigger time frame, and you see those correction doesn't appear in the bigger time frame, and that's why this move, this whole impulse needed to be corrected in the higher time frame, and that's why I'm expecting this. So in the wave theory, this should be it. Now this wave, now I draw this as a regular flat, as you can see, but keep in mind that this can be a running flat. All right, so if that's a running flat, we are not gonna see a drop that will break the lows one more time, but most likely something that will look like this, and that's still possible. All right, something that will break the top, go back down, and complete a running flat. That's possible, but it's too far to forecast. We should focus on this up move and not expect it to break the top, but simply go up and take profit around this zone, which will be the zone that we will be careful of because of that running flat, that regular flat simply. So for Avax, I think we're in the first retracement, and you're gonna take buy setup and expect a move. If you get it, if you get the right timing, and a move that will come up and confirm our 3-wave correction that will look like this. All right, so now Link, and let's see what's coming for Link. Link is different. All right, Link has a down move, some sort of a correction right there, and another down move. So at this point, this could have been an up move. All right, but it didn't happen, and as you can see in the previously, you had a contracting flat right there. You had some correction, just like this one, for example. This one right now, it reminds me this. You have an impulse, you have a retracement, you're expecting this wave. All right, that's what most crypto were expecting, and a wave that comes slowly up, but most likely will not break the top, then another drop. So that's what we are expecting. But as you can see, this went for a contracting flat because it didn't break the low, but didn't broke the top as well. So right there, contracting flat as well, didn't break the top, didn't break the low, and right there, I think that this piece, this whole piece should be taken as an A move, so the first retracement to all this up move, and I'm expecting this going slowly up just like other altcoins, but this will probably make a contracting flat simply because it has made a lot of contracting flat in the past. So I can clearly see them. If I zoom there, yeah, I can clearly see them, that there is a lot of contracting flat going on in this structure. So I would not be surprised if this goes for a contracting flat. Now in the smaller time frame, this is ranging, so this is giving another new low probably. So either an up move and then low, or just simply a low right now. But probably at this low, whenever this low will happen, we will get to see that slow up move that will come and do something like this. All right, so as of right now, we should be looking for buys whenever this corrective structure will end. All right, so whenever you see a new low, you should probably buy some, and if you DCA, that's the best idea. But just buy some and wait for that up wave that we will most likely have. So up move that will go like this, and maybe the down move will be for a contracting flat just like this one, or this one, or even this one. There's one right there, but either way, that's my thoughts for Link. Now S&P, and this one is super interesting, because to me we're going down for S&P, and I've forecasted this asset back in last summer, and I was seeing this down move, this three wave correction, and then another down move, so an expanding flat, and this happened again. So we had another down move, an up move, three wave correction, and right there I was telling the guys that this will go down and make a new low and not go up unless we see it range what we didn't see. So as of that, because of that, I was expecting a new low that managed to happen. All right. So after that new low, we had two choices. All right. Either we come with an impulse, a setup, and this comes up to complete that whole corrective structure for that up move, or the second option was this was not done yet. This correction was not done yet, and we could see another down move before having an up move that will happen somewhere. If it keeps getting correction, this can last for really forever, but as long as we don't have an impulse and a clear flag, this will probably do that, correct, and go down, because in the higher time frame we didn't have a lot of correction for a long time. All right, so for example, this right there, this was a regular flat probably, or a contracting flat for another push up because of that correction. Then you had a drop, correction, drop for an expanding flat. So you see the breaks the top, breaks the bottom, expanding flat. But what about having a correction for what's been around for a long time? So the last correction I can see right there is this in 2002 and 2008. It went for that expanding, so that correction. But someday this will have a correction, and I'm telling you guys right now, someday you'll get to see a correction for that pattern. So something going like this, something big, but doesn't need to be right now. And I have no clue, because there's two things with these type of assets. Either you see them making small correction forever, and they never get to have a returnment like this, simply because they come up healthy with smaller correction, and people take profit, people get in, and it's pretty healthy. So you never see those correction unless there's a crisis or something big in the world that makes this happen. But sometime you'll see them just right there. This was going too parabolic. This is a clear three wave correction that we know of. We clearly know about it in the wave theory. If I was during that time trading and seeing this move, I would have sold. I would have sold this to be a three wave correction, because I know about this pattern, while people doesn't really know about it and would have bought right there, thinking that this will go up when this has another piece that went through, and that was waiting for that point. So basically, you got to keep in mind that this drop, all right, this drop that you can see in monthly right now, still could be looking like an impulse in monthly, even though in weekly it's more like a range, and in daily also. So with that being said, this could be a correction that will slowly go up and go deeper. All right, I think this will go deeper, and that we're not done with the down move. I think we're gonna retest the lows, but it can also, if it's flags from now, it can also retest the top, and that's what's a bit annoying with these type of thing, is that for me, to be honest, I would see this as a sell setup to come and retest the top, because when you get to see a reversal, it will be obvious, an impulse and a correction. Now, if you zoom into it, for some reason, and also because of that retracement like this, also this one, but all those retracement make this move go like this and not like this. You see the difference? Sometimes it goes like this, and sometimes it goes like this. And we rather have this than this, because this means that you're giving a correction for that down move, and this right there means you're getting correction for that up move. So you're expecting another up move, while for this move you're expecting another down move. So it's simply about the way it's giving a correction and how it goes. So right there, I remember telling a friend that this was a perfect buy setup because you had an up move, a 3-wave correction that is a regular flat, so one of those that happen a lot of time. Then I was expecting an up move, and I remember Fed talking about something and this pumping, and I really thought at some point that this was going to go up. Then I kept calm and remember that no need to FOMO on these type of move, as there are always a bigger structure that will tell you what is the direction. In that case, I was seeing this pattern previously and this one being exactly the same way. So I was expecting this to go down while people were buying right there. The FOMO, the one that buys right there, already sold to them, and right now maybe buying lower. All right. So just keep track of the structure. Keep in mind the structure that if you buy right there at the top, you take profit, and if it goes slowly up, sometime you gotta keep in mind of the bigger correction, the bigger pattern, to just drop a little bit of your bags, because you're selling to people or noob a little bit, and at this point you'll be buying back later on because you're expecting a drop. So that's for this asset. I'm expecting this to come down, break the low, then come up at some point. If it gives a correction, we'll keep going back. But I think at some point, all this is a channel, a correction to go up, simply because this looks more like an impulse than this move. So that's my thought for S&P. Now Nasdaq, this is clearly going down, all right? This is 3-wave correction for that pattern. This is clearly going down, so no doubt about it. I think this will go down. Now, how deep? This is also an expanding, most likely. This could be also an expanding, or this will be running flat later on. So this up, this correction, then another up to match this one, and this will be also most likely a running flat for another time. But I think we should focus on this first move, which is down. Then we'll have an up move to match this one, then a down move to keep going down. And as long as this is not broken, you should not be careful of, as this is all the correction that will most likely go up. So that's my thought for Nasdaq. And I think it's pretty fair to say that we're not done with the drops, and we're gonna keep going down until we find the lows, and then we'll try to snipe them as well with an impulse and a small flag. So as long as we don't have this, don't even think about it. I've been watching for this asset as well as S&P and multiple assets, simply because I know they were dropping, and people were thinking this will be the end, and sometime we'll see it go up again. But I kept in mind that the only objective is to follow the structure, see what's coming next, and don't FOMO on things when the structure don't say that you should buy. All right. So if people say, "Oh, there's no crisis anymore, everything's going fine, we should buy Nasdaq, we should buy back S&P and stuff," I keep in mind that this is most likely going down, so I'm not buying there. At least I'm not buying. You don't need to be shorting this asset or to be selling it, but at least don't buy when the structure tells you to sell. So that's simple rule, and because of that, yeah, I'm expecting this to come down, even if the news say otherwise. As long as I don't see a range that tells us that this will go up, a range for after an impulse, of course, then I expect another drop, which is the case right there. This is to me a 3-wave correction for a drop. I'll expect that drop and then probably have an up move. All I know is that whenever this move will be done, we'll get an up move, as this is a correction for this up move. So we'll try every time, every new low will have an impulse and a flag like this. We'll try it. Boy, right there, there's much probability that this come back up to retest the top. Now take profit, protect your trade, and wait to see if that's the move you're looking for. If that's not, this will be a 3-wave correction for downtrend that will come back down, and you'll try again and repeat. As long as this is looking like a correction, you'll have to repeat that even up to 5 times sometime. But whenever the trade will go up, you will get profit out of it, and you won't lose a lot. Maybe some break even whenever you get an up move and that goes down again. You'll put yourself, protect your trade, and you'll get break even until you get the right trade. So that's how wave theory works. It's all about protecting your capital and focusing on making profit, small profit over time, and reducing big losses. You almost never get big losses. Most of the time it's break even or you get the trade. So that's about it, guys. I really hope you guys liked it. I know this video is pretty long. I don't know if anyone will watch it, will completely watch it, but if you do, thank you a lot to you. And remember, don't forget to leave a like and a comment and share with your friends if you guys enjoyed it, as well as if you have some friends that wants to know more about trading and the wave theory. I'll make this video just for them. So again, thank you and have a nice day. Peace.